All right. Hello, everybody. Hopefully you can see me and hear me. Let's get moving. Get all this stuff lined up. So I can see what's happening. Chat opened up here. Hello, Kay. How you doing? Hopefully you can hear me okay. I am just trying to get everything set up. Share this out there. Yes, awesome. I'm using a headset tonight for the first time. All right. We are still working on So tonight I've got a couple packages to open. I've got a lot of deliveries over the last couple days, so I'm just going to go through some materials that I got in and see if there's anything that I should jump on working right away, or if I want to tag and bag it and organize it and decide when to start cutting and slabbing up. Let's see. So I don't have any blue lace on the table yet. I do have some blue lace around, but I don't have any on the table. I have an Aragonite and a ocean picture stone. Those are the two blue things that I have right now. Trying to see if I can tell the number of viewers without blocking. There we go. All right, so there's a couple people here. All right, good. Hello, everybody. Yep, so I have tonight, I've got a bunch of boxes and material lined up down the table there that we're going to go over. Some of it I'm going to organize. Yes, it does remind very much of a blue lace, but it's an Aragonite, it's called. I have not worked this material yet. It's more of a turquoise. I don't know if the color's coming through all right or not, but it's definitely more of a turquoise than a blue. You see if I can grab a piece of blue lace to give you an idea. I have a piece of finished blue lace. So you can see the difference between the blue lace and the Aragonite. Totally different colors. I had a piece of raw blue lace around here. I don't know what I did with it. All right, so I'm going to get started going through some of this stuff. We'll get to the finished bead stuff in a little bit. We all know what amethyst looks like. So this was a half a chunk or a quarter chunk of an amethyst geode. Very solid little geode. I don't think I'm going to do anything to work this. I don't think I'm going to do any polishing or shaping. I'm just going to leave it the way it is and leave it as a display piece. This is a big chunk of Carnelian Agate. You can see that there's a very raw side, rough side, almost looks like lava. But if you turn it a little bit, you can start to see the lines forming, and you can see it smooths out versus the raw side. And then if you turn it again, you can see where some of it fractured. Maybe there was another stone up next to it. And you can see that shiny piece. And then the real surprise is on the third side, the final side. It's this druzy, crystallized section here. I'm not sure how best to work this. I kind of like this section to make a cabochon. But I don't want to interrupt that crystalline part. I'm going to have to spend some time with this and figure out how best, or if I want to mess with it at all. But Carnelian Agate makes a great little cabochon. This that you thought was the blue lace is blue Aragonite. And I don't know much about this. This is the first chunk I've had. You can see the different shapes. It's a cool little crevice in there. I'm trying to picture how this was formed. Because even if you look at the cut side, you can see the hollows. You can see the tan. Almost looks like a sediment laying in between the layers of this teal blue. If I wet it down, here's some magic. You ready? I guess I should put it on spray instead of. That blue really starts to come through there. Not too much on that side. That's more of the rough. So I'm not sure how this is. I'm going to have to do some research and figure out how this material formed and what it is formed of. I need another rag. Getting water everywhere now. I do too, Kay. I like this piece. I really love the colors. And there's another material that I have here. I haven't gone through it too much. This is called Caribbean Calcite. And no, Kay, I have not worked with the Aragonite at all yet. I don't know what it's going to be like or the best way to work it. Or even if I can find a solid chunk in there. If I start to slab it or cab this up. There may be some pieces to work. It almost kind of reminds me a little bit of rhodochrosite with the little waves that are formed in there. So we'll see how soft it is because I don't know enough about the material. This Caribbean calcite, another one that needs to be wet, to really appreciate, has a very similar color, a much more solidified than the Aragonite. But calcite is a relatively soft material. It's definitely got that light color. Not as deep as this Aragonite, though. That's just, the camera doesn't do that justice. You can see how much more intense the color is between the two. I'm going to move that piece of blue lace out of the way. This is the blue lace. I don't know if you saw that video, but that has the almost like a little window in it. So you can see there's a pocket of crystals inside there, but I got a great polish on it. And it's just a little glass window. So the pocket of crystals will never catch on anything or get dirty or dusty. So can't wait to put that on a piece of jewelry. Oh, here they are. Okay. So in part of this order, I did get blue lace tumbled chips. And so that should tell you color difference, right? If you look at these. There's more beads and some gemstones. Piece of strawberry quartz. And probably a yellow topaz of some sort. Before I put this away, this is a Septarian nodule, just cut. I don't even think that was fully polished. I think that's just, it might have been polished. I just thought it was neat. Now, as far as I'm going to put the piece of Aragonite away. Actually, I'm going to label that before I put it away. And the Caribbean calcite. That's pretty much all I'm going to be doing tonight, is going through these materials, taking some pictures, talking about what I know about them, trying to share a little bit. Checking messages. Hello, Beverly. Yes. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. I am just messing around with orders tonight. I got a couple boxes over here, heavy boxes. full of rocks. So I'm going to go through some of them, bag and tag some, start talking about what I've got and what I plan to do with it, what little bit I know about it. These were just blue lace tumbled chips. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Oh, wait. No, that's not what I meant. I've got all these beads, though, Beverly. You're going to miss them, especially these little fluorite guys. You see the purple, green, white, natural fluorite beads. We'll go through those in a little bit. I'm not to the beads yet. I am on to a piece of Rhodonite. So this chunk, pink Rhodonite. It looks like a rock. And turn it over, and you got this beautiful pink wave inside of here. You can see the movement inside of this chunk. And then the dendrites on this side. I love how those have come through. And that looks like a crack, but that is not a crack. If you look at the light, it is just more of the line in there. So I'm going to slab this guy up. Probably take a couple from this side. Take a couple from this side. And turn these into a couple cool cabochons. This is a solid piece of rhodonite too. It's going to be good material, good working material. You missed Beverly earlier. You missed my piece of carnelian. It's a pretty big hunk of carnelian. You can. I showed the rough side. And then we went over the side where you could see the lines, the patterns in there, with the white and the peach, and the cream, and then the amber and browns. But this one, the reason I'm hesitant to cut it up is because it also includes a pocket of druzy crystals. And I'm just not sure how I want to work this, if I want to work it. It's an awkward chunk. I mean, it is not shaped. You can see some smooth pieces here where another rock probably sat at one point. I don't want that. I knew you were going to say that. I knew that was coming. What else? Columbia River Dendritic. Moonshine Jasper. I don't know. I don't know what Moonshine Jasper is. Yes, Beverly. My glasses have changed the color. They're actually orange. But they're not blue anymore. Well, at least this pair isn't blue. Okay, this is what I got. Stating this is Moonshine Jasper. I don't believe it's a petrified wood. I think that's ink from the tag. This one company sends these tags attached to the stone, and I think that orange or red section there bled through. There is a crack in this one. Looks minor. I don't think it goes all the way through. Look carefully here. You can see some maroon reddish color. I don't see much of that in the cut side, so I'm hoping over. Hello, Easy Art Jewelry Tutorials. Thank you. This is called Moonshine Jasper. So I don't know too much about this particular material. It's new for me. I'm just going over now, doing some closer looks. So when you order online, you never know exactly what you're going to get, right? And there's some cool movement here. See that? So we'll see if that translates deeper into the stone. There are little spots of that maroon reddish color. Like I was saying a moment ago, that's part of the tag. Another solid material. It should be interesting to work. Rocks are like a box of chocolates. Oh. The organization in my shop is kind of funny. I've got Ziploc bags for chunks that are hand size. So, when we're talking about chunks that are this size, I'll put those in a Ziploc bag. Once I slab them, I have a separate Ziploc system that's labeled with just slabs in it and some bins. Okay, Beverly, we'll see you. I'm planning to be here for about 2 hours. So cut off right a little bit before 7 o'clock in case our other friend decides he wants to do his live hangout show. So we'll see. I don't think it takes you 2 hours to get home, but be safe. My organization is, that's right, bins and bags mostly, lots of Sharpie marker labeling, and then once I cut it up and it gets smaller than that, it kind of just gets into handheld piles of smaller slabs. That's right. I forgot it starts at 9 Tuesdays. So we got time. I don't know how long I'm going to be on. I'm just here playing around. If people are here talking and asking questions, I'll answer questions and hang out. Yeah. So this material, this is my favorite premium stone material. This is called BC Ocean Picture Stone. If you've seen any of my other videos, check them out. I've worked with this a bunch. This is an even slightly more premium to that called Dana Blue. It is a very intense blue color versus the standard, if there is such a thing as standard. Here's a chunk that is not considered Dana Blue. Wet that. That's more typical to what you'd see. I mean, it'd be a bigger chunk than this. This just happens to be a river rather than an ocean. But that color is a little bit more of a muted blue than this Dana Blue. Dana Blue is actually the name. The guy who owns the claim right now, and he's another YouTuber, Dan Hurd. You can search Dan Hurd. And Dan shares all of his mining and rock hounding adventures. Bought the claim where this material was originally found, and it was unavailable for many, many years. And he started selling it again. Hello, Mitch. Thanks for joining us. Hi, Miss G. How you doing? It's just me here live and all of our friends out there. I was just talking about the ocean picture stone and the YouTuber Dan Hurd sharing how he opened this claim back up and how he found it, and his wife, whose name is Dana, found this particular type of blue. And I've just been infatuated with it ever since. So anytime I get a chance to get a hold of some of this, I do. And I will work it and turn it into, I don't know if you've seen I can't get to it right now. I have a project going on now where I'm learning some metalworking with a local jeweler here, a silversmith, and she is teaching me how to properly cut and style a silver pendant, and I'm using this type of material that I cut a while ago for that pendant. Can everybody hear me okay? I'm using tonight for the first time, I have a headset in, little microphone in my ear that I'm using to speak. And I don't know if it sounds okay. I have a air conditioner on in the background. I don't have any of the grinding machines going yet, but I want to make sure that loud and clear. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. So this ocean picture stone, I have an idea for this. This is unique with that white line going through it. And then you get the rocky beach and the blue ocean. I've got to decide how I want to utilize that white line. And then it's a unique cut. This is the way I guess Dan cut it. Try and get as much out of the material as he could without giving you a bunch of fluff. So that's good. And this one has more of the typical ocean blue riding right into the sandy or rocky beach with the clouds over in the sky. I am a little bit worried about that line going across there. That may be a fracture, especially because it goes all the way around. You can even see it in the raw piece back here. And if that's a fracture and I start cutting into this and I lose that top half, I may try and cut that out to begin with. And it feels solid. I haven't really done any tappy tap testing with it, but there's enough material here where I can get a couple good cabochons out of that beach and ocean scene. That's my goal. A couple good cabochons. All right, what do we have next? In this box over here, this was a free gift. One of the companies that I purchased my rocks from often give out free little gifts as you purchase. This is a cracked Mexican geode. And the crystals in there, a very purple hue. I don't know if you can tell. Still a little bit raw, hasn't been cleaned out. So there's still some staining, probably from some iron oxide materials in there. And you got this cool little bump out down here. Now, it doesn't do anything for this geode piece. So if I'm going to polish the front, I'll probably end up cutting that piece off of there, just that little nub in there. And that'll give me a extra piece of this crystally little tiny crystals formed in there. So that's a cracked Mexican geode. And more of the other stones that I opened before I started the show. This is a chunk of Amethyst Sage. And this stuff is cool, but it can be all over the place. And then once you spray it down, you start to see some of the awesome features. Now, Amethyst Sage does have purples in it sometimes, not all the time. Learning that, you can see the deep purple right in through this area here. But it also has whites, and this one has some awesome dendritic formations in there. Focus, there we go. So there's a nice big tree scene in the white. You have some oranges and sometimes some yellows. I don't see a yellow per se. I do see that. I mean, that gorgeous purple right in there. Touching the white, there is some fracturing in that. Hopefully that comes out and becomes a little more solid. Here is side 2, cut side. Again, there's some pitting in there. There's some bits that are going to be tough to work around. And maybe may not make that purple as usable as I'd like. But hopefully, as I start to cut down on this, that'll go away and work out. And then here's the raw side. Doesn't look like much, although you do see the purple all the way through, which is a great sign. That means that purple's probably not going anywhere. Right, that seam of purple in there comes all the way through and then explodes out into a good mix. Overall, this is a solid stone. There will be some good material to work in here. Slabbing it down the right direction is going to be key. So I'll have to do a little bit more lucking, a little bit more lining up. But that's Amethyst Sage. Now what I do with bigger chunks like such is I've just got a little cabinet that I keep my big chunks in. When I'm not ready to cut them up, this was another nice big chunk. This is called Ocean Jasper. It's pretty common. You see a lot of Ocean Jasper. Colors in Ocean Jasper are unique. Before I wet this one down, though, you'll see a lot of little inclusions here. But if you look carefully in there, you can see that they sparkle. They're actually filled with druzy. It's got little tiny crystals inside each of those. So if I were to cut a cab out of this piece, normally you'd say, oh, I don't know if I'd like all those little inclusions, right? But if it sparkles, if that causes the thing to catch the light right and catches your eye, it'll make a beautiful piece of jewelry. And once it's wet, that's when those blues and greens really pop. Oranges and golds and ambers. See that. rock slide. All right, enough of that. We got to open a box, right? We still have this. This entire box to open up. I've not opened it yet. I don't know what's in it. I don't remember. I gotta make some room. I need to make some room. I should finish this box first. I should finish this open box before we go to the closed one, right? All gone. All right, let's go through what we got here. Let's go through what we got here. We saw this earlier. I did show this off with that piece of Aragonite. I don't know if everybody was here for that. This stone is a piece of Caribbean Calcite. Now, earlier, I showed off a chunk of Caribbean Calcite that I had. Next to a piece of this is blue Aragonite. You can see the color difference between these two, even before I wet them down. But once we wet down you can see the Aragonite really starts to sparkle. And the calcite still has that beautiful blue color, more solid than the Aragonite, but it's not quite as intense as that teal in there. And that's the original piece of Caribbean calcite I had. So this one also has some interesting features along the top of it on the raw side. But a good solid piece of that blue. That dark brown in there is interesting as well, compared to the blue Aragonite. Now this is much deeper color, much more expensive of a stone. A little bit trickier to work. I don't know the specifics of Aragonite. Calcite is calcite. I've worked calcites before. Color shouldn't have too much of an impact on how difficult it is to work. But we'll bag these puppies up and save them for later. I will slab them. Yes, Miss G, I do. I like the teal. It's definitely interesting. I'm infatuated with this guy right now. I don't know if you could tell. I started with the Aragonite. I'm still staring at it. I could stare at that all afternoon. And you know what? I'm going to leave the Aragonite out for a second. Not just because I love it, but I see something over here that I want to open. As our mutual friend Matt would say, oh look, Some Amazonite. Talk about another teal stone. A couple chunks of Amazonite, or Amazonite, if you want to say it correctly. All right, let's see what this Amazonite looks like. I didn't get a chance to inspect this one too much. Got a nice little pattern in there. Let's spin around this side. Get closer to you all. Be able to take a closer look at the stones. Look at this one. That color. Oh my God. Oh my. That is just spectacular. I wouldn't say it puts the Aragonite to shame, but man, it's a cool pattern actually. It almost looks like there's like a little temple in the mountains. You see that little door. Little door, and then there are all these little mountains here formed. I don't know if the camera's going to show, but this one has a crystal-y feel to it. It's very 3D. There's a good depth in there. Very similar to that last one. There's a good depth. So that's all my Amazonite order. That's probably going to turn into something nice. Okay. All right, bye-bye, Aragonite. I'm going to go bye. I got to stop staring at you. We're not friends like that. What do we got? Oh, Ghost Seam Agate. This is another new one for me. There you go. Doesn't that look pretty? Nice and brown. But, wait, there's more. If you look carefully, this agate has some cool features to it. Which one do you want me to spell, Easy Art? Aragonite? Is that backwards? That looks backwards to me. Aragonite is spelled Aragonite. Aragonite. Oh, the one that I'm holding here. This is Ghost Agate. G-O... Yeah. Where's the ticket? You can't see that. Ghost, G-H-O-S-T, Seam, S-E-A-M, Agate. Ghost Seam Agate. No problem. So without wetting this down, you can see the little ghostly outlines in there. You can imagine what that's going to turn into as I start slicing it. I think what I'm going to try and do is slice this kind of on an angle to allow more of the seam agate material to show through. It's going to give me a little bit of a diagonal end cut instead of a flat end cut. But then, instead of trying to cut this long ways in half, it's another way to try and get more of this material to face, or to end up on the front of the material. So Ghost Seam. That's right. I forgot, Miss G. You were a big fan of all the tombstones, and you got Fred, right? So, oh my goodness, what was the name of that agate that I made Fred out of? My brain just went blank. Graveyard Point Plume Agate. That's what it was. So that you have Fred with Graveyard Point Plume Agate in the tombstone or coffin shape. That's right. All right, so here we've got a piece of De Beers Mine Picture Jasper. This is dried piece of De Beers Mine Picture Jasper. All right, let's wet this puppy down. That's the De Beers Mine Picture Jasper. This is a smaller piece. Miss G, did you see how Matt wrapped the other coffin shape that was left for him to wrap? I think he did a tutorial on it. I thought that was a very respectable way to wrap a coffin shape. So for those of you that don't know, Matt's Crazy Art on YouTube. He has been my mentor as far as YouTube streaming, YouTube videos, sharing my little escapades with giving away rocks and hiding cabochons around. I know, easy art. Isn't it amazing when you wet that down, the change that goes through? It looked dry and dusty. All righty, now what's next? Columbia River Dendritic. Oh, you know what? I forgot to bag this. I don't need to bag this. I already have this, a bin for this. Oh, where's my bin? So all the way back over here, I'll show you this. This is, right? You watch this material polish up. This is also De Beers Picture Jasper. Same stuff. You can see I cut a piece out of that one already. And it takes a phenomenal polish. Has some great figural pieces in it. And you see, it takes too much of a polish, it shines. So when it's wet, that's what it looks like polished. So I can just put that guy in the bin and put him back on the shelf. And we can move on to the Columbia River Dendritic. This is fun stuff too. I love cutting this because it's so different. There's so many different styles or scenes you can get from this. I'm going to do the same little squirt down here. And you'll see some things appear right before your eyes. This one has more of a dark theme going on here. But still, you can see the dendrites forming in there. The movement coming across. You have a clear or lighter spot in the bottom. Little weird shape, so it's going to be interesting cutting this guy up. Whereas this has a much lighter color palette to it. See it there. Those are the dendrites. There's a clear spot. We've got little pockets in there. And I don't know if those pockets are going to stay small or work out or grow, but we're going to find out. I'm going to start cutting those probably tonight. Those are cool dendritic lines coming through there. Those aren't fractures. Those are going to be fun to work around. And this looks like space. Just outer space, solar system, galaxies, black holes, comets, stars, planets, moons. Get lost in that. So that is Columbia River Dendritic. Now that's a little bit bigger than I like to put in a bag. I need a bigger bag. No, I'm just going to use a Ziploc bag. Heck with it. Right, and I think that's the last of the big rocks. That's the last of the big rocks that are out right now. Now we can do, oh no, it's not. I lied. The biggest one yet. This puppy, I am excited. This got me all worked up. This is 14 pounds. 14 pounds of mahogany obsidian. That is a big chunky boy right there. And there is a little bit, just a touch on one side, a little bit of what looks like it could be gold. Gold sheen. But obsidian is just lava glass, formed from lava. Ugh, centered. And it has this mahogany material, this inclusion in it that causes the brown mahogany colors to blend almost perfectly with the black obsidian. So as you cut through this, there will actually be layers of that mahogany in there. And if you find the layers, and if you cut it properly, you can kind of see here, you see little lines that kind of show the layers. I have not messed with this rock yet. I don't know yet where exactly I'm going to cut, but I can show you a cut piece that I did a couple of weeks ago, maybe, or not. It ran away from me. I did recently polish my first piece of obsidian, and to see the layers through that thing was just amazing. So that's why I picked up this. And this material, I'm going to think I have to smash this to start. And it'll fracture like glass. And then once I smash it, sledgehammer it down to a more manageable size, I can start to slice into it and figure out where the bits are that I want to work with. I'm looking for that piece of gold that I saw earlier. Looking to see if I can find that piece of gold. It was just a little flash, and you got to get the light to catch it right to see it. Now that the pressure's on. Thank you, Miss G. I am working and building my collection. Slowly work. Oh, here we go. This is where it was. Now, if you look carefully, it's just so faint inside here. But there is a little bit of a gold. It looks like gold dust, just glittery over the top of that. And so combined with the mahogany in there, well, it's so reflective it's hard to see. But that's my 14-pound chunk of mahogany obsidian. And we're going to put that puppy to the side because that's hard to work with. All right, you ready to open this next box? Let's see what's inside the box. The box. The box. All right, invoices. Checking to make sure that the invoices are for me and correct. Cherry Creek, Ocean Wave, a Thunder Egg, some Sodalite. We're expecting all of those things. Plus Graveyard Point Regency. Oh, Miss G, you're going to love it. Inside here somewhere is Graveyard Point Regency Plume Agate. And a Thunder Egg. So we've got a couple Thunder Eggs. We've got Cherry Creek Jasper. We've got Ocean Wave Jasper, another Thunder Egg, and some Sodalite. So we will see what that graveyard point looks like. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed we find the graveyard point. Oh, it's right on top. Look at that. Graveyard point. Graveyard point. Ah, Thunder Egg. Newspapers, recycle. Thunder Egg 2. It's a pair of Thunder Eggs. Graveyard point. Cut Cherry Creek. Graveyard point. Ooh. All right, we'll show those. Sodalite. A bag of Thunder Eggs. It's not my Ziploc bag. They also use hefty bags. That's interesting. And Ocean Wave Jasper. Okay. Miss G, I'm going to start with the graveyard point because I know. Hello, Fukuju. How are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are just kind of hanging out tonight. I am opening my latest packages, showing off some rocks, showing off some material that I purchased that I'm going to be working with in the near future. I am about to open Graveyard Point Regency. This is another there's the first piece. But it doesn't stop there. There's 6 of them. Some little guys, some big guys. And then we all know what the treat is. We got to wet it down. Here's the next piece. Oh, a nice little, sexy little piece of graveyard point. Where do we see what that looks like? I like that chunk. I'm going to have fun with that one. Okay, here comes the next one. It looks like a big cavern. You look deep in there. It goes back and back forever. Ooh. All right. And last but not least, the smallest piece of graveyard point. Oh, it looks like somebody tried to cut this one already. They started to cut. Okay, what do we got? I'm going to start here because that is just, I'm in love. That little bit of lacy, crazy lace in this graveyard point. And it's deep. It goes back a bit. Solid structure. Don't see any fractures. Using the light. A few little minor divots, but those will polish out. That camera just doesn't show you how far back in the crazy goes. And then this is the other side. That's the light, and here's the dark. With the same type of super deep. See, when I start to polish that, that window will clear up, and you'll be able to see those textures. You can see just below the surface there, that little bit of plume. It will feel 3D. Both the same material, Graveyard Point Regency Plume Agate. And look at how different those two pieces are. From the same place. There's a much bigger chunk. You get a combination of both here. You get a little bit of the light and a little bit of the dark. I can definitely see some cabs coming out of this piece. Again, a very 3D look. That agate is, the plumes are coming straight through that. Oh, man. Now, this is interesting. I don't know what that's going to turn into. Because there's a little crevice there, you see that little opening? Could go down deeper into the agate. Where are you, Fukuju? What part of the country are you in? Because where I am, in Delaware County, we are in a very bland geological area. There's not a whole heck of a lot out our way, which is why I have to purchase most of these. I mean, don't get me wrong, I can find some quartzes and serpentines out here that are beautiful and make them look great, but nothing like this. This is West Coast material here. Most of everything that I pulled out here is from other countries. This, I don't even know. I'd have to check and see where Graveyard Point Regency comes from. Let's do some quick research. What do you say? Because now I'm curious. Oregon-Idaho border. Many gem claims in the area, many kinds of Graveyard Point plume. It's a very special type of agate with the 3D effect and the feathery plumes. We've seen the feathery plumes. Okay, so all right. So you are in the Midwest. Yes, an excellent area for gems and minerals. There's a website called Mindat, MINEDAT.org, that does a great job of showing you the types of minerals and what would be in your area, things you can dig up. This site doesn't have a very good mobile site, so I'll just have to stick with Yeah, not a very good mobile site. Yes, easy art. If you're in Oregon, absolutely. And what comes out of that ocean, that's always fun. Eastern Oregon. It's only 7 miles from Homedale, Idaho. There's been a lot of collecting Graveyard Point, but everyone's different, and I love this little batch that we got right here. So I'm going to have some fun turning these into. And I will make sure to reach out to you, Miss G, so that you get to see. I'll post it on the Crazy Art Facebook page. What actually comes out of that little lot when I have some more time to actually cut it down, and I'm not limited to my 2 hours. Well, the nice thing is things are getting cooler here. I don't know, just outside of Philadelphia. I say northeast, but it's not really northeast. So as things cool down, I can spend more time out here in the shop and be creative. I don't have to avoid the sun. All right, so what I got here are a pair of Thunder Eggs. Thunder Egg 1 and Thunder Egg 2. I don't remember whether they were an actual pair. Usually when I buy them like this, they are a pair. There's Thunder Egg 1. And Thunder Egg number 2. All right, we ready? Ready to see what we actually have here? Oh boy. Oh, it's definitely a pair. It's definitely a pair. You know what comes next. There we go. So this is an agate seam crammed inside of here. We've got some cherry reds. I don't know if you can see that in there. Working up into some dark blacks and some golden amber golds. Looks like a sailfish, doesn't it? There's the fin, the upper dorsal, the long nose. But then you can see this clear, there's a window there. And I don't know if the camera will see that very clearly. But it almost looks like glass into the center of this Thunder Egg. So what I'm going to do with these, easy art, I turn most of mine into cabochons. This, I was just going to say, I'm going to take this particular thunder egg, and I'm going to slice it on my saw right down the line, and I'm going to make slabs out of it, about yay thick. That's a slab that I cut, and I'm going to do that, all the way across the stone. And so I'll have, picture this face of material to work with, and I can take, a cabochon out of here, or a pattern out of this piece here, and then turn them into pendants and turn them into cut cabochons for rings, bracelets. And yes, this is a matching bookend set here, but I don't feel that they're super impressive by themselves like this. They don't feel, there's a lot going on. I have to think about that. Would I want to keep them as bookends? I totally could, right? I mean, they'd hold up books. I could flatten one side so that they sit perfectly flat. That wouldn't be hard. I know that natural, earthy, looking at the back, if you saw that, tell me if you saw that sticking in the ground. Would you touch it? Would you pick it up? Would you dig at it and pull it out? Is there anything there that screams special rock? Maybe the shape, maybe the fact that it was round at one point. That's what it looked like when it was together, for the most part. Yeah, I guess that there's a little something to that. Easy Art says yes, Kay says nope, and Fukuju says nope. Probably not. I mean, you would pull that out of the ground. You would see that and say, "Oh, I gotta have that." Definitely. There's blue. You see that from a mile away. You'd pull that out of the ground. Look at that color. This is a Freedom Paint Jasper. I can totally see pulling that out of the ground. This thing, man. What nature does is amazing. So that is called a thunder egg. For anybody just coming in, hello everybody. Thunder egg cut in half with an agate seam down the middle that will probably turn into some piece of some type of jewelry. All right, next. We got a hunk of, or a number of hunks, it feels like. This is called Cut Cherry Creek. Cut is in the name. It's not because it's a bunch of chunks. There's a lot of pieces in here. That's not what I expected to see. Okay. I didn't know what I expect. Okay, that's got to be cool to be able to go in your backyard or the South 40 and go pick up a bunch of rocks. I don't have that privilege here. We got to go a bit of ways to get rocks, find anything. It's the bear wrestler. Get it, bear. Easy art, you're funny. And now I'm back from outer space. Just walked in to find you here with that big stone upon your plate. Hunt? No. Barefoot's not here. Okay, be careful. I've been known to take road trips for less. Central Texas, you're probably 15, 18 hours away. I could pull it off. And I don't even have to stay anywhere. I could camp in your field. What? It's barefoot hippies. Easy art, you're barefoot hippies? You're not even the masked crusader? Oh, man. I had no idea. Hello. Welcome, barefoot. It's not that obvious because I didn't know. Oh, and that explains the Oregon. Barefoot, and you're going to love that I have... Oh, look at these. This is... Hold on. Cherry Creek. Go away for a minute. I have these on display in my shop, Barefoot, and I look at them. I stare at them constantly. In amazement. The Oregon Sunstones, the state stone of Oregon, right? In their host rock. Again, if you saw that, would you pick it up? I'm so glad that I'm speechless. But when you look in there, inside that piece of quartzy looking diamond like material, you can see that sun flash. Sometimes it looks brown, sometimes it looks purple. Oh, it's too bright for the camera. There you go. See that? It looks like the sun is trapped inside the quartz. That is the Oregon Sunstone. It's amazing. Okay, these are Oregon Sunstones. See how it glows? Not the rest of the rock, just the sunstone piece. If you look carefully, I think I also have over here the camera again, too bright for the camera. So what I do have back here, you'll be happy to know, Barefoot, or whatever you want me to call you these days, easy-made bracelets, masked crusader, marauder, whatever your name is. I have my I don't know who this is. Somebody's calling me. I'm not answering that number. Faceting machine is set up. I'm getting ready to try and practice a little bit more faceting before I actually attack the Sunstones. But I'm going to try and facet some Sunstones into an actual gemstone. Yes, Schiller, that's it. Copper inclusions, correct. Yeah, why? Correct. You know, you're the one who taught me. But like one of the things that I got earlier, this was a freebie. Again, like the company that I buy all of my material from, or a lot of my material from, gives away some freebies from time to time. Hello, Pat TV. How you doing? Welcome, welcome. This is a faceted yellow topaz. You can see versus a cabochon, right? Cabochon is rounded. Faceted has little flat sides. The facet and the furious. Gracias. It's good to see you. So this is a blue lace agate cabochon, and this is a yellow topaz or golden topaz stone. It was a gift. I don't usually buy these types of faceted materials, but sometimes, get over here. I'll get you later. Through different avenues. Oh, here's that raw piece of blue lace. I was looking for you. Amazonita, Amazonite. You missed. We had Pat TV a display with all of my Amazonite, Amazonita. This So, for example, my next project is going to be, I have a piece of aquamarine, and I would love to be able to work through one of these pieces of aqua, or make a piece of aqua similar to these. I'm going to try and copy this pattern on my faceting machine. Well, hello, D-Day. Welcome, welcome. It's good to see you. So yes, Pat TV, I did go through my Amazonita, my Amazonite haul that I did get earlier from the same place. I was opening boxes. We were doing an unboxing. Therefore, I'm going to put these away now. Put them back up on my shelf. Ah. And I was gushing over these earlier. So I feel like that this looks like a little... My son just walked in with a treat, a treasure for me. Hello, Mitchell.
Hello.
Thank you. Where did you get this?
Mommy went to Wolves.
Nice. Beautiful. My favorite right now, my favorite beverage is green tea. And this is my favorite green tea. Brazil. I don't know where the origin is for this. My vendor did not tell me. They just said, I've got a hunk load of Amazonite that is good and solid. It's not fractured. It's not crumbly. And I said, I'll take it. I love me some Amazonite. And that piece right there, that color. And then here were the blue laces that I was working on. But, Pat TV, I've got a question for you. Do you know Aragonite? I know you like Amazonite. I'm going to leave this out here so you can see, look at that, stare at that beautiful stone for a second. But one of the things that I got the other day in this haul, and I've been drooling over this all day. If you weren't here earlier, you may have missed it. That is called Aragonite. Blue Aragonite. And you can see that color. It has little hints of Amazonite type shades. But it's got some movement and it's got some just shape to it. Still love that stone. I'm going to have fun working that one. Barefoot, you have seen Aragonite before, just not blue. All right, we're back to our cut Cherry Creek. I didn't expect this. I don't know what to expect here. This looks rough, smaller pieces than I would normally purchase. We're going to wet it down. Oh, that's kind of cool. We're going to wet it down and see what we got here. All right. Cut Cherry Creek. We got a candy strick kind of pattern going on here. I'm going to be cutting them, D-Day. I am going to be cutting the stones into slabs and then taking the slabs into cabochons. And then from there, I don't know. Some of them may end up in my series. I think they are. I think you're absolutely right. Let me finish the cabochon piece. I've been doing a YouTube series about leaving cabochons and cut stones, polished stones around with little notes on them. We've been calling it loosely Stones for Smiles or Smiles for Stones, just so that other people get to experience the stone polished up and looking pretty, right? Because if you found this guy out in the wild somewhere with a little note, please smile, keep it, and enjoy, you'd appreciate it. Most of you here with me today know what a cabochon or a piece of jewelry would look like with that stone in it. But if a youngster finds that, or if someone who has never actually been involved in creating jewelry or any type of stone art finds it, it may spark something. It'll definitely make them smile. So I've done this for a long time. I've taken cabochons that I've made and I've left them in places, just neat little spots in the crook of a tree or in the back of a parking lot or by a playground or park bench. And Matt, from Matt's Crazy Art, most of you probably know, said, you should record this, because what if they find it? And what if they want to know what it's about? What if they want to know more? So I started recording it, and I started uploading some of those videos. So you can check out my channel afterwards and say, hey, you know what? I'd like to follow this and see if somebody finds it. If somebody comes in and checks in and say, hey, I found one. I did a bunch while I was on vacation. I was out in Virginia, Southern Virginia, down to Virginia Beach with my family, and we stopped at a few spots, and I left a few stones with little notes on them and just said, please, enjoy this little treasure, smile, and I had my initials. I haven't put any with my YouTube channel or my name or anything, so most of those probably won't come back to me. But recently I did start including a little QR code. It's just a little barcode that if somebody were so inclined, if they were doing some research on what the stone is, and I do include the name of the stone and a little note just saying positive message of some sort. And the little QR code means that somebody may scan that and come back to this YouTube channel and find the video that I put out of those stones being hidden or left behind for someone to find. So if you'd like to see more of that, subscribe. You can hit the subscribe button here, and hit the little bell. You'll be notified whenever I publish one of those videos. And I've got a couple more coming, and I do this on a regular basis. But yeah, that's what I do with the cabochons. And the ones that I don't do that, I donate some to Matt's studio. So you've seen some come through the studio before. You've seen them. You've had the opportunity to purchase some of them to help keep the studio running and keep everything going smoothly there. Some of them I will be purchasing, or I'll be selling on my own, through my own channels at some point. Pat TV, I do. My Instagram is either License Guy. That's my nickname on Instagram. License, License GUI. Or it's Lapidary Angel, which is also the Lapidary Facebook page, where I share some creations, just pictures and random thoughts. I haven't done much there. Most of what I've been doing is here on YouTube and on my License Guy Instagram page. Thank you, Kay. I love it too. And now that I've been sharing it, I really appreciate that you all appreciate it. So at least, even though I've never known someone who has found in the wild one of my stones, knowing that any of you who have seen the videos and have enjoyed it, GUI, License, License GUI. My wife, who is a big fan of jewelry, has not gotten too many pieces, have not turned them into wearable art. Dawn, how you doing? Hello. I was just telling some stories about what I do with my cabochons and how I leave them behind, and I've been sharing them with people. But I cut my first 2 cabochons. Oh, gotcha. Nope, not GUI. It's GUY. Guy. License Guy. But I made these 2 recently out of surfite, and I am turning them. I'm trying to turn them into an earring pair. She wants to wear them as earrings, little drops. But she would also like the earring hook to come through the top. So I've got to figure out how to drill a hole in the top of these to put an earring. Not general, Beverly. It's graphical user interface. GUI is graphic user interface. So this is the next piece of jewelry I'm working on for my wife. Dawn, welcome home. Thank you for joining us right when you got home. We were just going through this batch of rock called Cut Cherry Creek. I didn't know too much about. I don't remember purchasing it. I'm sure I did. I know that a lot of these sales are late night, so I end up buying stones. Yes, I am nerdy too. My son and I did just finish building a computer. But they have some real reds to them, which is different. I don't have a ton of red material, so we'll see how these work out. One of the reds that I do have sitting over here, and Barefoot, you'll appreciate this. This is a type of wonderstone here. Let me spray it because it's hard to see. This has red, maroons, purples, tans, whites in it, and it's a super hard, really hard stone. But this was donated by Barefoot Hippies, or you're going as Easy Art Jewelry Tutorials now. Was also the Masked Crusader the other night. I can never keep up with names. But the reason that it's glued to this board, to put these through my saw, I will glue these Yes, Mitchell. I'm glad you like your new computer. Thank you, buddy. Where was I? I will put these on a piece of wood with super glue. And so like I have this called a Mexican coconut, Los Chollos. It's a type of agate. They're little round balls, and I get them cut in half. But I'll glue them to this piece of wood so I can put them in my saw, lock them in place, and then the saw will just start slicing slabs off. And then I'll start getting slabs that I can work with. I have Pepe Lube as my jeweler's wax. If you're talking about the lubricant, but for faceting, no, I haven't heard of jeweler's wax. Are you talking about the dop wax to put? Hello, Valerie. How you doing? Good to see you. Sticky. So dop wax, yes, the sticky wax to stick onto a dop stick. I've used, so here's dop wax, that green wax on the top. And this is just a wooden dowel that I use to dop a cabochon. But I also dop cabochons onto nails with a flat head. It's good to see you too, Valerie. But I do use that. I won't use that on my faceting machine because my faceting machine, the little dop sticks are so tiny, I don't have any luck. What do I do with the little dop sticks? There they are. They're in this messy world here. So this little dop stick here, this little brass stick slides into my faceting machine in an index. And once it's in, I can turn it a set amount of degrees every single click. I can turn it in multiple directions and keep it there, and that allows me to do the faceting. And then this is diamond paste. This is 50,000 grit diamond powder, 14,000 grit diamond powder, and up. I'm not ready to share the faceting material yet. That's a little ways off. I've got some work to do before I really feel comfortable faceting stuff. I've done a few things as practice at this point, but nothing serious. So that's the cut Cherry Creek. Interesting, but we'll see. We'll see what it turns into. I do like cutting out of freeform. Just taking a chunk like this, slicing it to cabochon style, and see what I can do freeforming it without lining anything up specific. Oh, where's my Cherry Creek sticker? Graveyard Regency. Sodalite next. We have Ocean Wave Jasper, which is different than Ocean Jasper. You guys missed earlier, because there's a bunch of new people here now, my 14-pound boulder of Obsidian. That, I've got to clean up a little bit. That Obsidian there is called Mahogany Obsidian. It is 14.5 pounds, or 14.05 pounds of Mahogany Obsidian. And I am really looking forward to cutting that puppy open, because that thing may contain, there in one little corner, I see some specks of gold. And if there's gold sheen in there, there's the possibility of finding fire. And fire is when it looks like those Oregon Opal, those Oregon Sunstones, where all of a sudden in the middle, you get this beautiful flash. And so we'll go over this 14-pound chunk. Yes, I will absolutely video me cutting this. There's a lot of little detail that goes into figuring out how to cut it. Before I cut it, though, I've got to smash it because this is too big for my saw to cut, which means that I'm probably going to have to hit this puppy with a sledgehammer. And when I do, it's going to shatter like glass along these kinds of lines. So you'll see how this is smooth here. It's smooth on this side because it was already smashed once to get it down to this size. And this is how I purchased it. But if you look here, you can kind of start to see the lines, the layers of obsidian that are going through here. And you can see where the mahogany comes in and blends almost seamlessly with that obsidian. And so those layers are going to do some fun things with the light. And if you catch them, if you cut it correctly along the layers and you find that piece of flash, that shine that's in there, then you're going to get that gold through. And linked in one of my favorite videos is somebody I just watched who cut a small piece of gold sheen obsidian down into that mahogany fire. And that's what I'm planning to do with this guy, is hunt in this boulder to see if there's any real good fiery nuggets. And in one little piece of it, earlier when I first started going through some of these rocks, I did show that there is a tiny little area that has some gold sheen to it, and I lost it again. Let's see, where's the gold sheen? Of course, with the pressure of you all here, I can't find it right now. A laser cutter would be too awesome, Dawn. But yes, I will video it. You'll see it right here on this YouTube channel. So please subscribe, hit that little bell so that you can see it. You'll notified when I go live with that one. And I'll give a little update before I go live because I think that would be pretty popular. Because I don't know what the heck. Oh, here's where we saw the little bit of flash. So let's see if I can get it to flash on camera. You can kind of see that gold just reflecting a little bit under the surface there. It's like little flakes of gold under that obsidian. A helmet. You say that with my son here, who's a Minecraft fanatic, and they use obsidian in Minecraft all the time. But that could be fire under there too. That's where I'm going to start. You can see the layers come across here, and they kind of chipped out right here. And that's why I see that little bit of gold under there. A little bit of fire. Could be. But we'll see. We're going to save that guy for later. And it's 14 pounds. So I don't want to mess with it too much right now because it's 14 pounds heavier than my bowling ball. Ah. Oh, speaking of bowling balls. I should show you guys the bowling ball that I got. Because I'm going to start to cut it up to make cabochons out of. This thing was gifted to me. It's a bowling bag. Never waste diamonds on a hoe. And inside this bowling bag is Eleanor. This is Eleanor. This is a Power Groove Dry Brunswick bowling ball. What you do with bowling balls, or what you can do with these bowling balls, is cut them up. And this resin outer hull, with all of that movement, those greens and silvers and swirls, can turn this into a cabochon. No different than that surfite. Remember that surfite material that I showed you that I made for my wife? That's the same type of general type of resin. Those are the earring pair that I made for my wife. And so I'll cut this bowling ball. They are about the same size as the Obsidian, yes. But I'm going to take an angle grinder to this guy and just take the outer shell off. So I don't have to worry about the inner material. The inner material is usually white or gray and unusable. But the outer material is all I really want. So if I take the outer shell, if I can start peeling it off bit by bit. So that surfite, that's the same type of resin as you'd find in a bowling ball. So when I cut it and then peel this off, and then I want to try and save that piece with the name, and I want to find an Eleanor for a Cabochon. I thought that was cool. That'd be cool. And some people may like the Brunswick logo, bowling fans. So even though it's a little bit big, having the Brunswick logo into a Cabochon might be cool. So that's coming down the pike too. That's another video that'll be coming soon. Is bowlerite. Made the surfite. That's all I have left of it. Not much surfite left. I got to hook up with a surfboard maker. See if they don't have any drippings from their manufacturing process. But I got 2 more stones to open. Yes, a bear wrestler could handle it. All right, let's see what else do we have over here tonight. Do we want to see the ocean wave first or the sodalite first? What are we interested in? Ocean, ocean, ocean. Okay, we got ocean wave. This is ocean wave Jasper. What do I see? I see some whites and some greens. I don't see very many orbies in there. But let's see what happens when we do the magic, right? So there are some waves going up through the top there. And then just a little bit of movement in that. I don't know what's going to happen when I start to polish this guy up. There are some little tiny, it's hard for the camera to see, I think. Some little tiny orbies in there. Let me turn this light down, see if that helps. See those little polka dots? You'll be up close to see that that's actually made out of a bunch of little tiny polka dots in there, which is kind of cool, actually. Those waves. maybe when we polish that up, we'll see something different. It is a greenish color. Don't know. I don't know what to expect. New material. It won't take much to slice it. Let's see if it turns into a cab. If not, it goes out in my garden. I already have some rocks out in my garden that were materials that I had purchased, and I said, I don't love this. Definitely had better. Like green opal. I have a lime green opal that's out in my garden now, and it stands out. You can see it clearly, but it just didn't turn into nice looking cabochons. It didn't turn into rocks that I thought anybody would care about. It was rather bland. Kay likes it. Okay, Kay. Well, I will definitely post up when I work with it, and I will post pictures that everybody gets to see. And last but not least, out of this box, we've got Sodalite. We all know what Sodalite looks like, but you never know what you're going to see. More bits and pieces. There's definitely a blue under there. Definitely a blue. Some more blue. We'll do a tour of my garden. What I'm doing, Valerie, what I'm hoping to do anyway, is eventually I'm going to get to 1,000 subscribers. And when I do, when I get there someday, I'll be able to live stream from my phone. Right now I'm at 83, so I got a ways to go. But when I can live stream from my phone, we'll do more tours. I'll be able to do more rock shows. What do I see when I go to a show? What do I see when I go to other studios? People who I've gone to visit. Get to experience all those things. But that's down the road. That's a plan for later. For now, I can only live stream from my laptop, which is where we are tonight, set up in my garage, my rock shop, Vincent's Rock Garage. And then using my laptop, I can use a webcam. I can use the camera from my actual laptop, which is where you see my face. And this is my webcam that I'm using here. So are we ready for some water? We know what happens when we wet these things down. When you get a rock wet, watch out. So this is Sodalite. Dark, deep blues. Interspersed with that crystal whites. Sometimes some browns and some pinks in this one. That's got some whites to it, right? Look at that. And that'll make an interesting cabochon. Already got a cool shape to it. I think I'll keep that very shape and just round it over. And remember, that's different than Lapis, right? Lapis is much darker blue. And typically, so this is Lapis. What happens, and the way you can tell the difference, again, it doesn't look like much right there, but once it's wet, the blue is typically deeper. You see the difference there? But it usually doesn't have the same movement in it. Sodalite has much more movement and patterning. and interest over top of the lapis. And the way you can tell the difference between lapis and sodalite is typically if you take a ceramic tile and you just take the sodalite and scratch it down the ceramic tile, there's no marking there. It's white. If you take lapis and scratch it down the ceramic tile, it leaves a blue streak. So the way to tell the difference between sodalite and lapis is the blue streak that it leaves on, in this case, a ceramic tile. Stonewashed denim, I agree. So let me bag up this sodalite, and let me bag up this ocean jasper. We're going to put the ocean jasper, actually, the ocean wave, into my rock cabinet back here. All right. And then we're going to zip back baggie up our sodalite. Put that in my... Were you guys all here earlier for the thunder eggs? I've got a bookend pair of thunder eggs here that were interesting. They weren't the most interesting color-wise, but a few people liked them for their earthy tones and the cool pattern. They are a bookend pair, which means they were cut from the same stone. And that is a pair of thunder eggs. Yes, Beverly, these are thunder eggs. They were together at one point into what looked like an egg-shaped stone. Yes, thunder eggs, correct. No, I don't believe they are related to dinosaurs. A roadrunner. Yes, I can see a roadrunner too. I thought it looked like a marlin with the tail and the fin and the long nose. These thunder eggs have that deep black agate inside there with the dark red seams running through it. And then if you look carefully, I believe they are from Oregon. Yes, Don. Inside up here, that almost looks like a little window. It's so hard to see on the camera. It looks like a little window into the center of the egg. When I look down there, I feel like I can see for a mile inside of that thing. So I'm going to slice these up. I'm not going to leave them as a bookend. I'm not going to leave them as a pair. I'm going to slice slabs out of this and then find a pleasing shape to make a cabochon out of that piece and out of this or up here and in a cool pattern. That's my plan with the thunder eggs. Then I've got this piece of demortarite. Sounds like something Meatloaf would sing. Demortarite. Oh. That looks boring, doesn't it? There's nothing interesting about that piece of demortarite. Nothing at all. I don't know why I got it. You know, let's look at the Aragonite again, because that's more fun than the demortarite. You have, Valerie. What's your favorite kind of rock? What's the favorite one in your collection, or what are you looking for? 40 years is a long time. What's that? Easy art? What do I need to do? Non-negotiable of them that oh, none of them are that pretty. Water, water, water. Oh, okay. So we need to water the demortarite? Another blue. Look at that. Another shade. You want to talk about blue denim, right? There you go. A very consistent pattern. There are definitely some deeper patterns going on in there. There's a white line going across the top there. It is. I'm a big fan of blue, obviously. I don't know if you noticed, though, my glasses have changed. For those of you keeping track. Exactly, Beverly. That's what I loved about this, actually, was the fact that anything I put on the top of this, anything I put in front of this, this is a awesome backdrop for. So I could cut you that big chunk you're looking for, and you can do your tree, and you do your wire tree on the front of this, and it's going to stand out. You're going to notice because the blue, the patterning isn't there to get in the way. Thank you. Rocks from Greece, Ireland, Hawaii, and that's what I did, Valerie. When I started, I was just picking up rocks that I found when we were on a hike, when we were on vacation, when we were at the beach. I grabbed stuff that I said, oh, you know what? I want to remember this. I want to remember the time here. This rock looks interesting. The stone definitely has some movement to it. And so I grabbed them. And then I got bored during COVID. And I said, well, it looks like some people cut these rocks open. Let me try that. And I did. And I grabbed a little old saw, water saw, tile saw, and I just started cutting them in half to see what was inside. What was I going to find? That's what led me down this road. I don't know if you guys were here for the Carnelian conversation, but I'll show this again because there's a lot more people here now. This is a hunk of raw carnelian. Carnelian agate is a very specific type of agate. If you look carefully, you can see the lines, the water lines as the agate formed and cooled. I'll turn the light up a little bit. Oops, there we go. So the second side, this is the raw side. You can see it's rough as it bubbled up into whatever liquid material. And you can see where there was something here, maybe another rock, and it's now smooth versus that bumpy side. Here's some more smooth side of the carnelian. Right here is another smooth piece. But this one opens up into that crystally, druzy, sparkly, lovely piece of gorgeousness there. And so I'm not sure what I want to do with this piece yet. Whether I want to cut it and turn it into a cabochon, or whether I want to keep it as a display. Because, I mean, just, you can see how big it is. This is the size of my fist. You know, most carnelian that I've dealt with before has been little guys, you know, stuff this size and smaller. This perfectly golden amber carnelian. You can see how awesome the light shines through it. Just glows. So that's a favorite piece of carnelian right now. Like lava. Yeah, I mean, it was formed as a melted molten rock, molten minerals layered on top of each other. Do we want to see any other stones? I just want to start picking up random things from around my shop, showing them off. This little broken agate here. You don't have to wet carnelian. It just looks good, even dry. But if you look carefully at this agate, it has some pink going on there. I know it doesn't look it. Cameras don't do well with pink. But that's opened up all the way through. So that'll make some nice slabs, especially with that little pink touch down there. Easy art, I'm not sure. I don't know. I haven't researched it yet. Definitely have some more work to do on that guy. And then there was the other one that I showed earlier. This was given as a free gift, again, from my supplier, as I bought most of this other material from. This is a cracked Mexican geode. It's cracked and not cut like the other one that we just saw. So, Kay, I have a slab saw. It's called a Texas Rocks slab saw. It's from, I think it's from the 40s or 50s. That's where I cut the rocks down in half or down into slabs. And then I use a Cab King 6-wheel, 6-inch polishing machine that I use to cut them down to make cabochons. I also have a Rock Rascal trim saw, which is a much smaller saw. Now this little cut Mexican geode, I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to face polish it, which is just going to flatten this whole face piece out. But that means that I'm going to have to cut off that little nubbin right there. You see that little nubbin? And that's going to leave me with another cool little chunk of crystal. And I think I'm going to turn it into a pendant. It's going to be about the size of a quarter, maybe a little bit bigger. Oh, speaking of pendant, Beverly, guess what? This is a cabochon that I cut of Rutilated Quartz. If you look deep in there, you can see all the rutiles inside that quartz. And I've been wearing the pendant. Beverly wrapped this stone for me in ways that only Beverly can. And then I got this little black leather cord. And I've been wearing it. So thank you again. Oh, I wanted to show you guys finished goods. So some of the things that I got as well, that same company that gave me that free geode gave me this, which is a piece of strawberry quartz, natural strawberry quartz. And what I didn't know, what I learned once I got a hold of this piece and I started to do some research as to what strawberry quartz is, it is a beautiful wrap, Beverly. I love it, and I think it's definitely me. It fits me. This piece of strawberry quartz, there's a difference between strawberry quartz and cherry quartz. Now, you may have heard both terms, strawberry and cherry. Strawberry quartz is natural, where cherry quartz is dyed. So this piece of strawberry quartz is natural. And you can see, I don't know if the camera is going to show it, inside the quartz piece, you can see the little strands of whatever the inclusions are that make it red. So that's strawberry quartz, just a little sample for the collection. I don't think I could even facet that. It's just too small, maybe. But then